saying already in that one. But let me just say it again. Okay, so this is the group 2, and you will need emphasis on some of the things that I've said. If I finish and then there isn't much difference substantially in what we are discussing, then I'll keep just that one recording. So you are easily able to find the exam preparation recording. Okay, there won't be too many recordings that you have to engage as a preparatory material. Both main and city campus tests will then have that one online recorded session there as a point of reference. But we'll meet and engage throughout. And so I've met yesterday's group. I met the earlier group for city campus, and I'm meeting you also now. And I'll meet Thursday group tomorrow morning in person. The point then is, if we finish and we haven't said anything that hasn't been earlier said, then we would have to upload this one also onto the channel. So my point was, tell your colleagues, because last semester, which was level 200, I taught level 200, 201. I think 3 students in all, they are not related, but they are from city campus, went to write at me. They wanted to come and write at main campus. That is not done. But this is final exam. So you write it at your campus, where they have put a certain ID in a certain room, and they put some people there to call the exam chief vigilators and vigilators to ensure that you sat where they said you should sit, and you use the answer booklet. These are all part of the security apparatus of the University of Ghana. It is final examination, so I beg you. It's not like, oh, but it's the same lecture, the same course. I even stay on main campus, so I thought that I could just go here. You can't just go anywhere, right? They won't let you. You'll just be reciting a course at just like that. So please prompt your colleagues and go early. Why? Get there early. I don't know if it's 3:30 or 7:30. I haven't checked recently. Please, what is the time for the exam? I know it's 19th of September, but what is the time? Anyone wants to tell us? Is it 7:30 or 8:30 on the day?
7:30. Please.
It's 7:30, Ahumachi? Yes, morning devotion. So you want to be sure that you haven't allowed the traffic on your road to keep you, if you're a resident. You see, don't give any excuse, because the people monitoring the exam that day, who will be supervising the exam, are not your lecturers. Who will know that, oh, this boy is a serious, no, that it's part of the exam monitoring. So the people that supervise an exam at the center are not there. It's not their exam that they come there to supervise. You, the lecturer, you just give them your answer booklet. Your exam questions. Even your exam questions, you bring it on the morning. So if you are writing 7:30, it means that I should be there by 6:50 and bring my questions. If I say it's 1.5 hours, and that is the time you use for your exam. After 1.5 hours, I should return and pick my answer booklet. They would have collected from everyone and tied it. So you are supposed to be there at 7. 7, now what you are seated. People don't understand that. 7 o'clock, you are seated waiting for your script. They will give you answer booklet, and you will write down your name, your ID, your signature, put all of those details there. The course is philosophy and classics. The course code is not PHCL. It's not PHIL. No, it is PHCL 102. If you don't code it well, you can lose your script maybe years after, when we are trying to trace something. So it is PHCL 102, not 101. If you write 101, that is a first semester course. So PHCL 102, no, come on. That's the course code. The title is Philosophical Questions. Nothing more, nothing less. Then what school is it in? It's in the School of Arts. What's the college? I don't know if they still ask you that. College of Humanities. Okay. Then you write your venue. You should know the venue very well, because if there is any issue, sometimes it's not even you, the student, raising the issue. If there's any investigation about something, they will check, okay, all these people wrote the exam that day here. So if you go and write a wrong venue, you are in trouble. You write your venue. That's why those details are given by the university well in time. So if it's new N block, if it is N block 2A, N block 2, room 1A, write that. and you sign. The signature is important. Now, when you open the answer booklet, at the top there, they tell you, write your ID. People don't write. Say, what do you want? I said, I got a script last semester. Blank, nothing behind it, nothing inside in terms of ID. At the back, not even the venue, not a signature, not the number of questions answered, not humanity. Not, now, the person came to my office, so I'm not telling you a story. You will fail the course. You are getting an F, and we can't help you. So you want to get to the place early and have all this done so relaxed. Why am I saying all this? This is the first time writing an exam in this. No. But I like it when people have been given all the information they need for something so that they do well. Oh, and you're ignorant. If you're ignorant about things, you can. My sister got to the center 10 or 15 minutes after the start of the paper. This same problems of philosophy, first semester. I got to know because a colleague of the department was a chief at one of the centers. 3 centers like this. So he was the chief at, say, the ground floor. So he heard it that it happened at the first floor when he was going for marker or something. He came to tell me that, hey, Mumbai should there. She just landed. Her makeup and her high heel. You are late. When they asked her, she said she was having cramps or something. They didn't let her write because you don't look like someone who had cramps. Now, if you had cramps, who cares about your cramps? I want you to have all that in mind. So go early. What is 7? Whatever. They give you a paper, you write it. Then they can even give you the question papers around 15 minutes to time or something. Then you are making your point on the question paper. Thinking through it, how you write. Don't go with anything because the questions you will be asked, and I'm going to share that shortly. Waiting for your questions if you have any. Questions you will be asked are not recall questions. So there is no incentive to carry anything along. If you take all the textbooks, if you don't know, oh, why am I sharing the same thing? If you don't know, you don't know. It is applied. You answer 2 questions out of 5. 2 questions out of 5. And I told your friends, don't go and punch and say that because we did 7 topics and Madam says we'll answer any 2. I'm sure that Otega will come and Descartes too will come. So media. I'm just learning Otega and Descartes. What if the Descartes question is married to Otega and Plato? So 1 question, but it's 3 in 1. What if? And you didn't study any of those because you felt that those ones, they won't come. So come prepared. That's why I'm going to take questions again and again. If you go and play the discussion we had after the IA, it virtually took you through the whole content again, making sure that we have done filled in all the parts of the cake. The cake is now well shaped. We did the mopping up. We have done the icing. We are now doing the decor. Then we are ready to eat. Any questions? So you answer 2 questions, each 25 marks. No compulsory question. So it's relatively cheaper. And you have about 1.5 hours to do it. Is there any additional question on something I have? And they will be all practical. So you apply the theories, like some of the questions you see on your screen. So look at the first one. I did it a bit more extensively in the recorded one I've sent. So you can play that. But look at, this is the one you saw in your slides on informed consent, the medical ethics one. Okay, maleficence, patient autonomy, beneficence. They just been 2 questions. This one is not asking what are the 4 steps of patients informed consent. No. That's not an exam question. Examining you, no. Assessment, yes. You're assessing where you have reached. They check your head. By examination, we are shaking you to see if you know it. So the reading assignment, look at it. You were assigned to read it. I just rewarded your reading the work. So you know that assignment was to give you information. So it's not every assessment that is meant to examine you. No, some assessments or assignments are given to give you information. So you go and read to know. Then I reward your reading. to know. Insofar as you reported what you read, not a plagiarism of what someone said. So I got a message before starting the first class. Someone wanted to know, Doc, please, when the thing came back, I got 0. Please, may I know why I got 0? I said, my friend, when you go and do ditto copying, you will get 0. I've said that over and over again in class. So send me a WhatsApp. Let me take a snapshot and show you the way. He said, thank you, Doc, when I showed him. 83% plagiarized. I've not mentioned the person's name, so if you are here, feel free. I don't even know where you are. I know you are a student of the course. Ditto, line by line. Then I highlighted the flag and picked the friend who did the same thing and showed him the two, the name and the details and the lines copied that day. Now tell me what I should do. The thing is 0. Not because someone wants to give 0. If he's lucky and has done earlier submissions, then that one will be 10. You will still have a 10 record, but he would have learned that you don't do that in assessment. Okay, so that is by way of telling you that we assess you differently. But examination there, it is not to help you learn, neither is it to check where you stand. Exam is to check what you know, not only what you can recall, because we don't have the same abilities of remembering. So it is not so much how you know what non-maleficence is, how you can restate patient autonomy, how you can quote beneficence. No, there's a degree of marks that is awarded for that. But the real award is how you use it. Because you don't forget it easily. So why is, let's take one that is interesting. Okay, please play the other one. At least look at Descartes, the question 6.1. Anybody read that for me, please? So I take a sip of water. Anybody? Please go ahead. Thank you.
Please, I can't see.
Oh, who can see Descartes? Nobody?
Yes, madam.
I want the one who can see. Thank you. Who can see? Prima, can you see it?
Yes, please.
Please read for me. Thank you very much. My sister, listen to Freeman.
Okay, madam, please, that's number 6.
Yes, sir. Read it.
Using Descartes' 2 arguments against sensory knowledge, make a case against mob or instant justice. Use practical illustrations.
Very good. So look at, this is a typical example of an applied question. Why am I calling it applied? You are going to use Descartes' 2 argument against sensory knowledge. You are going to use that to make a case. In other words, to present an argument against mob or instant justice. Then we even tell you further, use practical illustrations to give vivid examples to make the point. You say you are going to look for Descartes' Cogito ergo sum book and bring it to the exam. Bring it. When you bring it, we are not asking you to tell us the dream argument or the limitations of the set. You are not telling us that. We want you to show how that one can be used to what? To make a case against punishing people instantly, because you say you have found them stealing the phone directly. You caught them red-handed. You saw it. So now you want to give them instant justice. Show why that can be. So it is a marriage, a discussion between what Descartes said and what it means for everyday life. You see, Plato, a reflection that is useful for the cave to change situations in the cave. That is what is going on. Then we tell you to use practical illustration. So for such a question, how will you answer it? I said the earlier recording is a bit more elaborate. How will you answer such a question? In this paper, you are introducing your essay. In this paper, I am going to argue from Descartes' case against sensory knowledge, for example. I'm going to argue from that to show why mob or instant justice cannot be defended. I will use practical illustrations to make the point. In paragraph 1, I will outline Descartes' 2 arguments against sensory knowledge. In paragraph 2, I will connect that to what? The case against what? Mob or instant justice. In paragraph 3, I'll give practical instances to show why mob justice cannot be defended. And even if you like, interrogate, question, whatever it. Ultimately, there comes your point. Ultimately, I'll seek to show that mob or instant justice is not defensible if Descartes were right. Full stop. This is your introduction. Introduction tells you or tells us what you are going to do. No, you know, you know, why you introduction. Maybe kakayen, na kan introduction. Nya ukakoyen na uka introduction. Nya me babe, what I am going to do. That's what introduction of a philosophical text. Look at all the texts we looked at. No storytelling, embellishment. The brightness of this day has given me the opportunity to write down this response. The rampancy of the depression of people can write, bro. It's not relevant. Look, philosophy, concise, cute, elegant, straight to the point. No elongated statement that can't make sense. By the time you wind and come to the fourth line, one statement, we have already forgotten what you were saying. It's a philosophical, very deep and heavy. So one straight line, I intend to support the claim that instant justice is not defensible. Full stop. I will do that by engaging Descartes' two arguments against sensuality. Full stop. First, I will take so and so and so. Full stop. I will continue with so and so and so. By the third session, I will be saying so and so and so and so. In the end, I seek to say so and so and so. Full stop. You see, that's the introduction. So when you finish a good introduction, you can't do introduction when you haven't thought through what you are going to write. You finish the work in your head, on your mind, before you start writing. Have you seen a builder, a designer, who just starts mixing cement and sand and stone at any proportion at all and start building? He's just building before he decides what the building will be like. No, you may not even need the stone. You may rather need tiles or something else. You have to have a plan in your head. Sometimes the plan is even put on paper. The draftsman does that, designs the whole thing on paper. That is, in other words, it's like an idea. So when you structure it like that, you know that I'll put this here, the kitchen will be here, this place will be a frontage, we'll have this here, we'll have that here, we'll have that here. That is when you can drag the people that are helping you build along because they have the plan. They see what you are doing. So if you say, here, this place is for the window. Let's put the window here. Here, we'll fix this here. This place will be for the chamber. We'll make it a master, so there should be one toilet and bath here. It should be laid out already. Not that every day you have to come and stand there. No. Break all these walls. These walls, they should have been shorter than this. This place is a transition between the bar room and the kitchen. What you have done there, you have made it look like a kitchen. Did they know? What is the plan? So your introduction is a plan of work, which tells us what you want to argue for and how you plan to do it in a structured manner. You write it in a summary form. You don't write the argument in the introduction. You don't say, I will say that mob justice is not defensible because if they did that, they will kill people without knowing that they have. That's an argument. Now you are putting the premises in the conclusion, in the introduction. No, don't say because you don't know whether he's dreaming or something. That is why I would. Then the second one, no. Now just say what you want to do, how you want to do it. You're done with your introduction. Nicely done. It will help you. So you take your paragraph 1, like you said you would do. So we said in paragraph 1, we will introduce or we will engage Descartes' two arguments. You start. According to Descartes, or in the view of Descartes, from Descartes' perspective, or sensory knowledge is never justifiable in the view of Descartes. Why are you starting that way? Because you told us you introduce us to, or you will show the two arguments that Descartes professes to show why we shouldn't trust sensually. So your paragraph should say that. The one reading is following you. So if the navigator is pointing to the right and you are bending to the left, there's problem, there's confusion. The cars around you and the people in the car are all confused. If you say at the junction, I'll turn right, that is what you mean when you turn the navigator of your car towards the right. It means you are telling everybody, the one behind you, the one coming ahead, that I'll turn to the right. So feel free and come because I'm going this way. Before we saw it, you have turned the opposite direction. So we can't admit of what? Inconsistency. You can't be inconsistent. Your starting point, what you said you stand for, should be what by the time you are done with the essay, that's what you are ending with. Consistency. So you take the paragraph in that order and finish all. The second paragraph say, to connect this discussion in the earlier session to mob or instant justice, we will see that you are building that. I can't tell you what you should write, okay? You are showing how the dream argument, the limitations of the census argument, for example, connects to the discussion on what? Mob or instant justice. Then the third paragraph says some practical illustrations will make the point even more vivid. Consider, so those that perhaps we can all relate to or you can point to easily, works fine. Otherwise, create a scenario yourself. And so the fine gentleman that was stoned to death by some village folks who said he's a Galamsey person, may so rest in peace, can be a very vivid example you put up. You show that this man was killed by the people. He may even have, listen to me, he may even have been a culprit. So what? How do you measure a commensurate punishment for the supposed crime that you say the person has committed? You see? What if he wasn't complicit? So you are showing with illustrations, examples that happen in practice to make the point that mob justice may not be defensible. Someone may have a defense for it. No problem. Show us how you do that. Now, it is at this point that you may want to chip in something like, my detractors or someone who disagrees with this view may say so and so and so, may raise the objection of so and so and so. But my response to such a person is so and so and so and so. For which reason I think my view is more defensible than this. And for which reason I will not, and I do not think mob justice should be endorsed. You see how it's very rich. Now you are going to conclude. Conclusion. The foregoing paragraphs have discussed so and so and so and so. So you are taking what you said in the introduction back into the conclusion. But this time you are saying what you have done, not what you want to do. When it was in the introduction, you were saying what you want to do. In the conclusion, you are saying what you have done. My people, what you have done. So I argued for so and so and so. In the first paragraph, I threw light on Descartes' two arguments against sensory knowledge. The second paragraph, I engaged a discussion of how that observation relates to what? Mob or instant justice. In paragraph 3, I buttressed my point with practical illustrations. I hereby end on this note that it might not be possible to defend mob justice if we were to take Descartes seriously on this. Full stop. Don't add thank you, madam, and God bless you for your goodness to us. Don't add that one. It's not a speech. But that is it. It's a beautiful philosophical paper if we were writing this way. No embellishment. In 1696, Descartes was a friend. Descartes is this. In fact, he was so distressed. He was even holding a wine glass when he was thinking, what has it got to do with anything? It's not philosophy. So this is a typical way of answering philosophical questions. You can do the same for all the other. These are Pascals that I used to make the point. So see, you are likely going to see something like this on your question paper. Have a feel of it. 2020, 2021. That was last year, I think. So this will be 2021, 2022. But the department will be the same. The course will be the same, 3 credits. It will be main and city campuses. You write the same exam. The instruction will be answer any 2 questions, yes. But I think the mark will be 25 marks each. This was when COVID was strong. This will be 25 marks each. So you are working for 50 marks, but the time is likely going to be the same. You have scenarios like this. You've seen all these. So this one is also in the business ethics question in your slides. They are there. I picked it directly from this. Kwame Jechi connected to Plato is there. This one is Otega. Whether I study for the exam or not, what is meant to be will be. Well, will be. You know, people say that. Dagrapha. What is written is written. What will be very fatalistic. They won't learn. Because after all, if you learn, you don't learn what God has said. That is what will happen. So 3:30, when the paper starts at 7:30, 7:50, you are now going to take your sponge to bath. Hey, 8:15, you are coming, running to the center. 8:30, you have landed. It's like 30 minutes for the work to finish. You say, oh, if God says I'll make an A, I'll make it. So it's not the time I get there. Sit there. Let God be true. It means you can let God be a liar. You get there late, what God has said won't come to pass. You are that powerful. Yes. So the choices you are making can fit into what God has said so that you let him be true. That's why you must make the right choices. This Ortega. I'm trying to reconcile Ortega with a determinist view. We didn't do determinism in the other one. So don't worry about the second half. But the first part of the question is still relevant to our discussion. And on that note, I think I've given you so much. Any questions? The multiculturalism and the notion of cultural identity, the introduction I said I'll give you. It's just very simple. I've been a little bit more elaborate in the earlier one. We often worry about people, losing their identity, especially in a multicultural context like Ghana, Nigeria, where there are a medley of ethnocultural groupings, different groups, different languages, different ways of life. People eat differently. Some eat Hausa kuku. Look at the name. The food cry is called Hausa kuku. Fanti dokono, fanti kinki, and stuff like that. But fanti kinki, ga kinki, eating in a context that is multilingual, multi-ethnic, multicultural. What is culture? It's just the way of life of people, the way people live. So what? So when people in a multicultural context are worried, they are afraid that, look, the way we are doing things, you are diffusing our identity culturally. People's identity, people singular, or people's identity are changing. Now, when we say cultural identity, the author, Miles, says there is something that is being confused here, which needs clarification. When you say cultural identity, you're talking about two different meanings of that expression. You may be talking identity in the accidental sense, how we identify people. It doesn't have to be something that is fixed and unchanging about you that makes you Ga. Okay? You may speak Ga language like I do. I even write Ga. That doesn't make me a Ga, essentially speaking. But I can participate in the Ga language. I can participate in some food that is identified with what? Gas. I can be part of the Ogbachocho festival. Enjoy it. It doesn't make me ever necessarily, essentially speaking. There comes the word that you have met through Plato. Okay. So when we confuse the accidental sense of cultural identity with an essential sense, that is when we get frustrated. We think that something is being lost out. Cultural identity can be used in an essential sense of the term. And that is what the author says. It's difficult to defend that. How do you defend the essential cultural identity of a person? That you are essentially Fanti, not Ga. What makes me that? The language, but other people speak Fanti that are not Fantis, per our own prescription of Fanti. They are not Fantis. Look at the way we are speaking English. Where are we British? No. Okay, what about the clothing? Oh, jalabia is all over churches. Jalabia is supposed to be Muslim clothing. The churches have taken it. They won't let Muslims have their dress now. Does it make the people at church wearing jalabia Muslim or nodness? I like T-shirt, especially the green. So if you come and see me sitting down chewing Chinese frog, does that make me Chinese? So I've moved from language to clothing, to food, to way of life. These are all, if we are making notes, it's a good time to use. They are accidental. It means that they are not essential to my being. So my cultural way of life is not essential to my being. It is accidental, yes. That one is very important. You can't take it away from anybody because people live in a certain way. So when you go to Rome, you do what the Romans do. When you travel to Netherlands, because you have to go and visit some family folks there for a period, you don't go and wear kaba and slit or cloth. You don't wear cloth, kente cloth with ahenema. That's the kingly slippers. When ice, or in Iceland, when the ice is out, the snow thick, negative 30 something degrees, you are wearing your cultural clothes because you want to maintain your identity, cultural identity. It's a joke. You will become obituary. You can't go and sit there and eat fufu morning, afternoon, evening. You want it pounded, tum, 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 like some people are doing at some places. Look, the starch will be stuck in your system. The ice cold weather there cannot accommodate that kind of eating. You will be sick in no time. Climatic conditions won't permit that. Why am I showing you that? So when I move to a certain place, I will change how I'm doing things. Culture is just how we do things. And we identify ourselves by how we do things. But that doesn't mean people have a cultural identity. Look at the language. So it is a connotation of identity, a different usage of the word identity. Identifying you by the language doesn't mean the language defines your identity essentially. No, that's why you can call someone New Date, Kokud, whatever, but he speaks a Kuyapim tree than the one that was born, bred and buttered there. Why? Because it is a matter of participation. So if I was born, bred and buttered in Europe, my accent may change. Even though I'm called Ama, Ata, Fante, or Ghanaian for that matter. But because of how I grew, I don't know how to eat fufu. I can't eat banku. I don't know how to even tie the African cloth. I don't know it. What I eat is grass. my friend says that's good food, salad, vegetables, hamburger. That's what I eat. That one, if you give to this as auntie sister that comes to visit her, grandma that comes to visit her, he will tell you she has not eaten since she came. 2 weeks. Anopa jollof, ewia kenke, enyumre sandwich. This one, are they food? She said she hasn't eaten. She's waiting for tum, prekese, fufu, and prekese soup. That is when she will know she has eaten. So we admit that there are ways that people live that are not the same. That's not in contention. Accidental sense of what? Culture. So you know that, oh, if someone says, when you are coming, buy me brown bread. And it is Ghana. We are in Ghana. And they say, blah, please, please, when you are coming, buy me brown bread. You have good reason to believe that the person, look at what I'm saying, I'm not saying the person essentially comes from there or has an antecedent there, no, but the person may have grown up there because it's in the language. Opini Ejekum was teaching then, our own revered linguistics professor, now at African Studies, that man was teaching on that, and I was listening. He said some of the things in the language. So if you speak that language for a while, you will pick it. That gives you antecedent, it points to something. We don't deny that. But it means that if I, that call myself an Eve, I went to live and I was groomed in that setting for a while, I will do that also. Not because I wanted to, it's the way we do it. I will eat the garden, I'll eat the frog. It will be a delicacy. If I grew up in somewhere, Kenya, also I eat crocodile meat. Some people eat snake. It's a way of life. If there's no alternative, then so the culture at the beach. It's not the culture at church. The culture at church may not be the culture at the academic setting. In fact, even the churches, some church would like it when the pastor is preaching and the people are shouting, "Oh, go on, man of God, it's a word, preach it." Another church, if you do that same thing there, I said the ushers will come to you and walk you quietly outside and warn you if you're lucky. Please, you're obstructing the flow. This is a liturgy, it has to be solemn and quiet. We don't make noise like that here. You are hurting the culture of the house. So culture is dynamic. Even the very people practicing something or living in a certain way, as interaction and coexistence and all those ones go on, things transition. The only thing is that it has to be self-evolved and it has to be aimed at what? Improving the way of life of people. It should augur well for what human well-being. That is the only thing. But culture is not static. For you to be looking for an identity of a person culturally, a fixed, unchanging, essential, definitive feature of what? Culture. That's a contradiction. Culture is already a moving thing. It's always in transition. It's elusive. Why do you say you are Fanti? When your mother is Fanti, you said, and your father is Ga. What about the Ga part of you? What happened to you? You say, I'm a Fanti. When you go to your father who is a Ga, to you too, his father is Eve and his mother is Okuyapim. Okay, there has to be some Ga. So your father who is Ga to it is his father that is Ga, but his mother is Okuyapim. So he says he's Ga. Then when you go to that grandma who is Okuyapim, to her own father is Grushi and the mother is Okuyapim. Why have you thrown the other half out? Because that is just the way we live. That's how we have arranged our society. But there is nothing essentially in your being that makes you more Ga than Pante, more Eve than Grushi, more Dagomba than Andani, more Andani than, what's the other one? Abudu. The point then is, when people are making a case for the preservation of cultural identity, what exactly are they saying? Are they talking about the accidental one? We must keep those. Accidental meaning is not essential to our being, yes, but that is how we have organized our society. We must respect that. So an African Ghanaian like myself and yourself, we greet people when we meet them. Whether we know them or not, we greet. We don't live like individualist hermits living in space, atoms. No. Yechia, whether small or old. Oh, you see, oh, good afternoon, sir. Not that you will bypass the person and go into the building. Then when you go in, the buildings are locked. Then when you come out, you say, "Oh, hello, sir. Please, you are coming to us." I'm told it means get away from here. When you were passing, you saw a human because she's tying a broom sitting there. You don't have regard for her. We greet Yechia. When you are a young person, even elderly folks who have a lot of sense of respect, when they are wearing cap and they are addressing someone, they take it off. It is how we do things. It's called culture. You don't put your earphone on and then you are talking to someone on the phone whilst addressing an elderly person or a superior. It's very rude. Don't say, oh, but this one, dog is nothing. This is Ghana, Africa. We don't address elderly people by their first names. It is culturally offensive here. Don't say, but when you go to America, do you see the snow there? Do you see some in Ghana? So you see Otumfo, they call him Otumfo, what is okay, Nanado. Nanado is called Joshua. Freeman, help me. Nanado called Joshua. I forgot. Oh, anybody? What is Nanado's first name? Help me, our president. Because we don't use that one. We use this. Okay, let's use someone. Let's use JDM.
William.
Nanado is not John, Mr. I think he's Joshua.
It's
But
William.
let's use William Wong. Hey, Edward. Okay, I think that the Joshua is the prophetic name they gave you that he's taking over from. So think about it. Look at JDM, our ex-president John Dramani Mahama. Then you see him and you say, oh, so John, we want John. So John, really? So John, is he your boyfriend? I'm talking about not a colleague. A colleague can do that. He's their mates. But if you are a journalist, Ghanaian journalist in a Ghanaian setting, and you are interviewing our ex-president, and he's sitting before you. You cannot do that. It is culturally offensive. I'm telling you, people. Don't let anyone say, "Oh, you read there." People are too conscious of title please. It's an African thing. Some places, before you even mention the person's name, they will ask you, "Whose son are you?" It is your father that they are interested in, not you, because you are irrelevant. The reference is to the father. Does it help? Yes. It gives you a sense of belonging, insofar as they are not using that to stifle an opportunity that you have. There is nothing wrong with that. So we accord respect. I'm telling you, even the chiefs that go to our venerable, paramount chiefs, the chiefs. I think I know that for the Asante, because I'm not Asante, but I learned that a lot, and I hear it. It's a bit more intricate and pronounced, or maybe I haven't given attention to the others. You can't go and stand in front of the Otumfo if you are even a chief under his whatever, with your cloth on your shoulder. You don't do that. You pull it off your shoulder before you address him. I'm told. That's the culture. Now you and I are going to do research or project interview. Then we go there with our kambu and things. Then we enter with our left hand. No, Nana, so what I want to ask is, why is it? No. I learn the culture of a place. So I'm saying that all these examples are to show you, see, that the way people do things are different. So that is not in contention. That's why there are different cultural groupings. So Hogbechocho is not Homowo or Ujra. There are different festivals in Ghana. Identifying, see my language, different people. In other words, different people participate in that kind of culture, or they eat that kind of food, or they dress that way. They are all groupings, ways of life you can identify in our Ghana, our multicultural Ghana. But don't tell me from that, don't say that, therefore, if I see someone eating kinky, it means I have defined essentially that person's culture. That is Ghana. That's where the error is. So because you saw the name Bediako, so you say, oh, too many Ashanti people have come into the university. Too many Ashanti. Who told you that the Bediako? Yeah, my friends I have a family, a second family, not biological, but I consider them as family. She comes from Jessica, and that way their names are Enyemasem. Enyemasem is tree. It's not my problem. But the place that she is labeled as his or her antecedent is supposed to be Ebe, a form of Ebe. Why am I saying all this? So you want to avoid, that's the conclusion of the whole discussion there. Yeah, we want to avoid confusing accidental features that we identify with as what belonging to a certain cultural group. Distinguish that from the claim that it is essentially their cultural identity, meaning that it is something that is fixed about them. It means I can today eat kinky, the next day I can wear bubu, the next day I will be wearing, speaking English, the next day, because culture is dynamic, and depending on where I am and which people I'm dealing with for which reason, the kind of culture that will fit, that is the kind of way of life that will be acceptable, will vary. And if you got that, that is the key thing that is not too difficult in that text that I can present to you. If we go to level 200 together, we may now expound on it and see how the cultural revivalists and cultural anti-revivalists. Revivalist says, let's go back for everything in our cultural antecedent. Sankofa. Wholesale, we should forget these modern things and go for everything in the past. We say no. That cannot be. That's the view of the author. You can't argue that with me, because some of the things in the past are baller. They must remain there. And I can take from Kwame Jechi, who says, like the inheritance systems, some of them, they don't encourage ingenuity, creativity. You are a sister. You have gone to get a brother for a husband. Somebody has a husband. He can't take care of you. You give birth to plenty children, and all you are targeting is your brother's property. Because war, that is Uncle Day. So you there, you won't go and look for a good man. So you can start a home and you generate an inheritance that will take care of your own home. You are eyeing your brother. What about your brother's wife and his children? So that kind of inheritance system thing, and this I'm just echoing Emeritus Professor Kwame Gyekye, blessed memory. That's all. That this is something that used to be prominent in the way we do things that cannot come back. Leave it buried. If it tries to, what's the rear its head out like that, push it back there. So we are not advocating for an absolute return to the past. Everything, tradition, no. Because some are properly left back there because as we interact and we try to evolve better ways of dealing with problems of existence, we ourselves, human beings at that, we realize that this thing doesn't work for us. You say you want to do subsistence farming. They say, oh, they are bringing tractor, harvester, so that these 3 acres of, corn can be harvested in maybe 3 hours or 1 hour. You say, no, me, I like the traditional way of grandma. Please, this thing you're going to do 3 acres, it will take you 3 months to have. You say, no. If you need the oposa, opuna, maybe. So she's going to take her time to plant 2, 3, 4. That is workable in the past. It is not helpful now. We have a population of 30 something million to take care of. We are hungry. We can't let people plant corn with their hands, 2, 1, 2, then 1 line. Maybe a line back. I finish 1 line. Tomorrow I'll come and continue. When will we eat? That time that we were doing that, Ghana's population was not up to where we are. So we have to embrace a change if it will augur well and promote human well-being. That is not problematic. So there is something also in the now, the modern, you see, that is useful. Professor Gyekye's book is titled Tradition and Modernity. That's all he's doing, from politics to social issues to whatever. You can find it. You should better get it. It's a rich African, philosophical, westernized view of it. So the person has exposure for both African and Western, and is writing from a philosophical point of view on matters that are germane even for today. The book was written in 1997. It's still relevant today. So that's why it is a conversation between the tradition, what is gone. Tradition means we have held on to it, but some of the things have been jettisoned. We have left them in the past. So some aspects are not good. No two ways about it. So the one that is a cultural revivalist is saying, revive the past. Revive the past. He has to qualify it, otherwise we'll have issues with him. So what can we take from the past? The ones that can help us now, that is useful, but we have left them. Like consensual approach to decision making. You are part of a group. You are deciding on when to meet, like a project work, a group work that you submit to Dr. Miles. 10 of you. 2 of you say, oh, if we could do it Wednesday morning around 9, it will help us because we have lectures the rest of the day, the time in the day. Can we do it Wednesday morning around 9? Then maybe 8 of you say, oh, Wednesday morning around 9, it's too early. We want to rest a little. We don't have any lecture on the Wednesday. How can you make a decision that makes everyone feel at home, even if, take note, even if you would have to sacrifice some people, it has to be done in a way that looks out for the other person's interest. You see, you may not be able to change that, but you may tell the people that, okay, then maybe what we can do is we will meet and then we'll do the drafts. Then you will research this area and that area so that the time that you can join us, you join. We haven't changed the time, but we have at least given recognition to the other person's need. It's called consensual approach to decision, not majoritarian, not minority versus majority. We have counted how many say I. 7 people say I. So we don't care what the 3 have in mind. What is bothering them gradually is not our issue. What kind of approach? It's not African. Says Gyekye. And others like him. So this is very important in the past. Do you know what we are talking about? The revivalist versus what? The anti-revivalist view. They are discussing in this book that I've shown you why the identity must be preserved. One says, let's go back to the past, cultural past, so that we don't lose what defines us as, let's say, Achims or Adan, Gadan with people. We are losing it. So let's go back to our depot. Let's go back to our Chokoshi. Let's go back to, hey, slow down, Brian. Is it everything in the past that must come? Perhaps not. So we have to have a very high standard through which values and practices and beliefs are being passed. You have to pass them through those standards to see if they will hold water. If they don't hold water, don't bring them, keep them there. There's a reason why they didn't come along. You see. So I've just given one example of one that should be left in the past, and another example of one that should be revived. Consensual approach to determining whether we should do e-levy or not would help. If we go and it bounces, we know that we all agree to do it. Not those who say 50 plus 1, that's all we are looking for. What about the 49? My people, 49 people said no to something. 51 said yes. It doesn't mean we shouldn't make the decision, but it means we have to tread cautiously because close to half of the people that are in the set are not with us. So if you say one zoom, let's lift it 1, 2, 3, you lie. 51 people lifting, the 49, their hands are on it, but you lie, they are not lifting. But you could say, oh, because 51 have chosen, let's go by what the 51 said. But how can we mitigate what your concerns also were? Both, market or bridge. If you are on my channel, you know that I've posted something for levels 300. It's not for you, but I mean, some people some are not even philosophy students, but they are enjoying philosophy on the side. This example, I've made it today. You have to let the other person feel that you are still part of the whole. We are one whole body politic, either a department or a family, a church department, a political party, whatever. So the decision making is consensual. If the eye, look at you, a human being, if your eye is tight and so won't open for you to read, or you're going to write an exam, your eye is closing because it's tired. Your brain is alert, but your eyes are tired. Your leg too says it will move. How will you write the exam? Your hands are ready to write. Even your leg cry is ready to move, but your eyes are tired and sleepy. Will you say whatever the eyes will do, it should do it with the way we are going? Who will look and read for you to write? So you have to go and look for some, if it's Lipton or something, wash your face or something. Trying to get, eyes is feeling sleepy. You can't stop it from feeling sleepy, but you can do something to help eye overcome it because of the whole body. You see, so that approach is not a waste of time. People think that they just say that we are meeting tomorrow, everybody will come. Oh, forget them. If you go and ask this, that is why our democracy is the way it is. That's why that home, when the people are making a decision, they never finish making one decision. Husband and wife, they can't make one decision. There's no compromise. There's no fellow feeling. Church says that is a traditional thing. You can't throw it away. Welfareism, where the child is everybody's child. If I see the child crossing the road at that place, I say, hey, Kofi Bra, come here, where are you going? My mommy said, what? Come here. The woman will hold Kofi's hand, gra, and bring him. I saw Kofi over there. Hey, Kofi, what did you go and do there? How did we stop Kofi from going to join the people to go to the disco? Some mother played a motherly role. She didn't say, hey, this one is not my issue. Individualistic versus whatever. Everybody mind your own. No, that is not African. You have to go back for that. It's not inquisitive. It's called fellow feel. You feel for the other person. Not that you feel for them, so you take Bible or you give grades when they have an end. That's not feeling for them. That's cheating. But you look out for other people's interests. So you enter the place there. You sit on one of the chairs. Then you have put your bag on another one when others are standing down. You see how bush you are. Not you, my student. I'm addressing the person who did that. The chairs are not enough. Some do it even in church. You have sat your bottom on one. Then you have put down your handbag on another. Not that you are reserving it for someone. You shouldn't. But not that you are even reserving it. You have just put it on it. Because your bag must have a seat. It's expensive than a human being standing there, not getting seat. You should be calling the sister. Sister, please come. There's a seat here. You shift and then give the outer seat to the person. So it's quick. She says, look out for other. That is African. It's our tradition. So when they greet, they ask, no, mommy, how's your mother? Hey, has she been discharged? I heard that the twins were difficult to come on. Oh, does she like Abedru? I'll bring Abedru. one interaction. See how many things she has asked. Almost like African people are inquisitive. They don't give people privacy. With privacy. That's why you're building houses the way you're building it. You can build some. Because that's the norm now. You build and you build long walls. You are only one inside that building. So when the thief comes to, you don't have anyone to help you. Look at our food. Even the food we are eating tells you that we are communal. Before you eat it, someone must stand, someone must stay, someone must be checking the soup. By the time it's ready for eating, more than 20 people are involved in the cooking. It tells you that we are communal. That is us. We are a communal set of people. We are not individualistic. And that is what the author is asking us to have a look at that. If you got that, then you see that it is revivalist versus anti-revivalist. That is the conversation. The revivalist and then the anti-revivalist. We don't want to take one specific group. We want to say that if you go cultural revivalist, apply the moral standard of what? Human well-being. If you want to say that we shouldn't take anything in the modern too, that would be problematic. Because some of the things in the modern are good. I talked about irrigation. I talked about using technology. Mosquito bite can be dealt with. Get mosquito spray. That's all. But it is not everything modern too that is catchy. Some are distracting. So you don't do a wholesale embracing of everything modern. And that is what the author is trying to deal with. And so she starts with what? A focus on what they claim is the issue. Our identity. We are losing our identity. Which sense of identity are you talking about? The accidental sense. We should work on it. We should go back for it. But if we make it essential to a person's being that she's Akan, because of the name she bears, then we have problems that we may never be able to surmount. And on that note, I'm so done. I think I'll record this one too. I'll upload this one too. Then you choose between the two. Any questions? We are done. Any questions? If there's a question, I would want to address it so that it will be part of the recording for the benefit of your colleagues. Okay. Any questions? Hey, where is my thing? Okay, there is no question. Freeman, you are the class rep. Are we able to end the session? Let me know. You can always bring me any concerns if you have them, anything. Right now, the target is how many A's I'm going to record. And I'm afraid because I think that people have learned content and people want to deliver and they will do well. Just work on your expressions as well. I don't like that I didn't did it. It didn't went. That shall I. It's very obstructive when you're reading. Okay. But for level 100, we'll try and guide you a little so it won't be the marking, what's the thing? It won't really be the focus of marking, but it's important that we help shape. So we'll look at content, we'll look at style, we'll look at organization and stuff like that. Okay. All right. Any question? All right. Thank you very much. It's pre-Monday. I want to make sure that I am discharged. But the recording is on now, so the blank is only making your recording too long. So if there isn't any information to add, then we better stop it and then make ourselves available for any further questions you may have. Okay, Nanaima, are you here? Could you make it today? Where are my people? Freeman, are you still here?
Freeman, where are you?
Madam, we are here. We are here.
You are not Freeman. I know Freeman's voice.
Oh, madam, it is me.
It's not Freeman. I know Freeman's voice. I know
Free
Freeman's
boy.
voice. Okay.
Free boy.
So thank you very much. If you have to ask any question before the D-Day, just let me know. I'm glad to assist you. As for the third essays, those who, if you have seen a familiar, if you saw something that is not too pleasant, don't worry. You don't like it, send me a message. I'll just show you what you did. That's all. Then there is no long talk. Okay. Anything that is 80% plus plagiarized, red flag like that, I just open it to make sure. And if I see that it is the same substance, I mean, this is not even like a repetition of the ideal. it is word to word. So the person didn't do anything. And they thought you would not see or something. I don't know. Okay, this, as for this paper card there, it is worse off because this is my work, my own work. So I know what I written down. Okay. So to avoid plagiarism, you write what the person is saying, if you want to even say that. But you write it in your own words. See, so Miles argues that even though the revivalist may have a point, they have to see, instead of just writing from beginning to end what the person said, verbatim, without quotes. Some to quote from beginning to end. I just did that with one of the critical thinking students. Her submission from beginning, she opened quotation mark. Then the whole passage, and they ended with a quotation mark. When you do that and it passes through the system will not say it's plagiarized. But it's not just the flags that we used to grade. I look at the essay, I look at it. So I saw her. I saw that that's what she did. And you will score 0 for that. At most 2/10. Okay. So if you have done the previous critical summaries, then you earn your mark from that one. It's just one of them that will count, really. The best from all the ones that were given. Then the in-class one, plus your interim assessment, giving you 50. Then your final exam also 50. And you will do very well. Okay, thank you very much. Have a wonderful, wonderful week and revision. And I wish you peace in all your studies. Stephanie, your hand just shut up. What is it about?
Madam, please, it's not about philosophy.
Don't worry. So should I stop the recording?
Yes.
If it's something that will not benefit the others, then maybe we should end it so that they don't have too much. So, okay. So go ahead.
Yes,
I've ended the recording.